Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Saturday the 16th, and we're not at MoParty. What the heck is going on here? So I thought I was going to make an appearance with the truck running or not running, but we'll get to that here in just a moment. So first things first, obviously, as you can tell, we're not at MoParty. I know I said I'd be there. The situation's kind of looking the same as far as the engine bay, the rest of the body, and everything else. And we'll go over that. We'll start from the top down. But needless to say, my oldest brother that does the engine work came down with COVID. You know, we got that second wave of COVID going through. And unfortunately, he got it. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, he was out of commission. We were going to bust ass to try and get this motor done, guys. But, you know, there's no point in trying to rush things when, you know, it's a Gen 3 Hemi. I'm not saying it's something he hasn't done before, but, you know, with the things we're trying to do, putting a blower on it and stuff like that, we're trying to rush to get up to Steve Morris to do a tune, down to Bowling Green, and it wasn't going to work, and it wasn't worth it. So Jason and I called it Tuesday night. Wednesday, called Howie to let him know, unfortunately, that we weren't going to make it, and that's where we're at. So let's go over the build real quick here, give you a rundown where we're at and where we need to be, and then let's get some action done. So starting from the top here, we're going to be removing the TPS because we're going mechanical injection. That's right, we're going to change this over. So we're going to be spraying nozzles into the hat here. And then we're also going to convert over these nozzle ports here. Well, injector ports, I should say. Put a slug down in there, weld that up, and then we'll drill and tap into these so we can run individual nozzles. And the reason we do that is because you have to spray above the blower. These are Teflon strip, so with no fuel, E85 or methanol, you know, Ignite E90, any of those with alcohol in them to cool the rotors down. They will swell up, and then they could potentially seize up depending on how tight the rotors are stripped. So we're going to do that. Just a small amount of fuel up here, and then we tune every individual cylinder because a blower will force all of the air and what fuel is in here to the front by general nature of the rotors spinning. But this is an open design, so it should be pretty well evenly distributed, but this will allow us to fine-tune every runner. Now we have this front motor plate here, the cover, that has been completely modified. We got some rough Sawzall marks there. We're going to mill down some stuff. We're going to make coolant ports. Instead of coming out the front here, we're going to be TIG welding on some fittings on both sides, which we'll get to that. And then as you can tell, we've got power steering mounted. We've got the mechanical fuel pump down there. These brackets are going to get changed over. This was just some temporary stuff. This is not going to be our motor plate. It's going to be a 1/4-inch aluminum piece. And working on dry sump. Spent most of the day trying to mount up a dry sump pump. Have some ideas there. We need to get the rest of our belt spacing stuff. I overnighted a belt and a bunch of other parts thinking we were going to be going. And that should pretty much take care of the rest of that. We need to pull the transmission out, get the leak fixed, get a new seal for the shift seal, because when the Camaro wasn't running the exhaust on that time, it burnt the seal out of the shifter hole, and the front pump seal I think is leaking as well. We need to get brakes on this thing. We've got a seat mounted in. I don't know if I showed this previously, but we've got a seat mounted in, transmission tunnel. My dad's been kind of screwing with this door over here, cut a hole in there, trying to figure out how all this rusty crap works. I think this handle should just pull straight off this square shaft in there, but that's not happening. So we've been just kind of soaking it here with this. Dad's been jerking off on it, so that's been trying to get that working. There's our new Willwood pedal. We're working on the gas pedal over there. And then right now, I'm in the back here getting ready to mount the fuel cell. So it's going to go up on top of the hump here. I got to cut this for the sump. So I'm going to cut that so it faces forward. We'll get straps on this, and then we'll put an enclosure like we did inside the Camaro, because we want to be safe in here, so that way it's protected outside of the fuel cell, so a separate enclosure. And then the other thing that I want to work on is we want to get this sheeted from maybe this point here. We might go up, I don't know, we'll see. Dad has some, I think 4x8 sheets, so, you know, if this is 2 foot down to the bottom here, we can split it and it comes up however far, that's how we'll run them. And we'll get that all sheeted. I need another little piece here. Otherwise, everything underneath, I think I've pretty much got welded up. We got these riser pieces here on both sides that are helping support all of this in the middle, so that way when the fuel cell and stuff's on there. And I think I showed before that we got all the rear end and stuff painted up. So if we get this all finished up, side sheeted in, we can go ahead and just shoot some paint on this to keep it from rusting up. What do you guys think about the roof? Should we leave that open? I was almost thinking about, well, not open. I want it closed from the elements because obviously with the computer, several $1,000s with the computer equipment and stuff in here, it'd be great to have it not get rained on. But I'm thinking like a piece of Lexan up there. There is a ledge up there that we could screw it down to all the way across, put big globs of silicone so it doesn't leak, and keep a panoramic roof on there. I thought that'd be pretty neat. So let me know down below what you guys think about that. But that's kind of where we're at. So motor's getting put together, a lot of mock-up stuff. I don't even know if it's getting put together actually. We need to do some modifications to the block, so I know that's going to need washed again. So I don't know. Let's continue from there. Enough rambling on, guys. So again, sorry to Holly for not making out to the event. Oh, and along with these goodies I overnighted, I got this awesome package from RaceQuip, which we'll open up here. Came in this nice bag. You know, I think I had one of these nice bags when I had my helmet brand new too, but let me open this up here. Ooh, little sneak peek there. So yeah, there it is. Awesome, like lime green color. I don't know what color they call it, but this is going to work great for burning green and for death trap both. So thank you to them for helping us out with that. I've got the fire suit and all that stuff, but I was actually missing my helmet at LS Fest, and so that's how it kind of came up. And you know, the guy I was speaking with there kind of said, you know, I think this green one might do the trick for you. And I said, that's kick ass. Let's get it coming. And to help take care of that helmet, we're going to come up with something to hang the helmet on just after I get done with a burnout, driving on the pad, off the pad, stuff like that. But okay, enough rambling on. Let's get to it, guys. All right, well, I gotta say, putting those rib nuts in definitely makes a night and day difference. So this is the Astro Tools 1450 rib nut. You just drill the hole, buy the right size rib nut. I drilled them just a little bit bigger because this is a little bit thicker steel than what the rib nuts. You got to double check that too. There's so much crush on them for the thickness of material you're going through. So if you're going through some thicker stuff or some really thin material, you know, like newer cars, if you're going through like a body panel, you definitely want to watch that. But yeah, no, got the straps on there, and that baby ain't going nowhere. But we still do have to get that enclosure on. Probably can't see underneath, but you can kind of see up there. So the sump obviously is sticking out the front. And then we'll see how the lines look when we get them on there. If for whatever reason we need some kind of like a, we'll call it like a trough or something to protect them, we'll do that. But I think I'm going to call it there for tonight. A couple things I forgot to mention. We actually did get a drive shaft, so we were prepared for that part. And then I have this dry sump tank up here, which is going to be mounted directly on this passenger firewall area here. So that's the next thing I'm going to tackle. Probably need to see about filling in a couple of these holes here. And then we're going to drill the 2 holes that go vertically. And probably put like a backer plate behind it just to help stiffen it up. And make sure that this doesn't flex. I don't think it will, but you know, you got that tank hanging out here with 10, 12 quarts of oil in it. And then, you know, dry sump pump will be mounted directly down here. I was test fitting a line in there. But yeah, we'll move on to that tomorrow night. Oh, and be careful out there when you're welding, guys. I accidentally dropped a hot part on my arm. That was last night, so it's not looking too bad. Found some stuff out of the old first aid cabinet on the back of Burning Green there. Be careful out there, boys and girls. Well, it's Sunday now, and I went to the apple orchard with the family, so did that this morning, and then this afternoon I went over to my brother's shop, used the old manual lathe, testing out my abilities over there. And I ended up turning out this chunk out of a solid chunk of aluminum 6061, cut it down to length, smooth off both ends, put a little chamfer in there, and then this is going to be for the idler pulley. So I've got the stuff over here. I drilled this out to a 5/8. I'm hoping, I didn't even try it, I guess it's sitting here. Okay, that's good. I want to make sure that the shank of the bolt, which is usually larger than the threads fit through there. So let's go ahead and assemble this together here. We've got a massive mess on the desk, as you can tell, on the workbench, but we'll see if it all works. Now, I got oh, there's a washer in there too. There we go. Which is good. We need that. So basically, we've got our pulley. This is our idler bracket. We've got a T-nut here, which fits nicely in the groove. Oh. Didn't even need a butterfinger. Huh. All right, let's try that again. This is going to go on here. And these pulleys come with a stand already in them, and I'd calculated that into my measurement, so looks like we've got enough thread. Well, it looks like we're good. It just looks like hopefully my calculations on the spacing is going to be accurate. There we go. So that tightens up just enough thread to come through there. You know, when you get to these 5/8, I think this was fine thread. Doesn't matter. When you get to like bigger diameters, it's hard to find bolts that are exactly the length you need. They start going by 1/4 inches and then by 1/2 inches. I mean, you could always trim it down, but you know, I can live with that. There's nothing behind there. I also cut these out of a little piece of tube and just kind of chamfered the ends. So these are the spacers that are going to go directly behind this bracket to space it off of the blower itself. And I've got bolts for that, so I think what we'll do just to get this on there once is lower the truck down and pop out 4 bolts, bolt this up there and see what it looks like. Hopefully these, I don't know, they look kind of small, but I think they're 5/16 bolts. We'll find out here. Just like that, we have a blower, idler bracket, spacers, and yeah, just some kind of monstrosity here of spacers, but you know what? We got to do what we got to do. So it looks like we're pretty much in line with that. I mean, it's hard to tell from here. It looks, you guys probably can't get a very good view of that, but looks pretty good to me. So we won't know for sure until we get the spacer made for up here and get that pulley on. Worst case, if I've got to remake it, if some of my measurements were off, it's not a huge deal, but I think we're looking pretty good. So we just need to keep going. We got some billet goodies coming for this, and what I mean by that is with some blank material. So hoping to make some stuff for up top here, maybe a fuel pump bracket and aluminum, and a couple other brackets as well. We got some things in mind. You know, we've made this adapter plate here. I don't think we did too bad with my CAD engineering skills and CNC programming skills. I think the only mistake you'll never see. And then, yeah, like I said, we should be fine for the rest of the stuff here. Fuel tank, get the enclosure done, and just keep moving forward. So dry sump pump, getting mounted down here is going to be my next challenge. I'm going to get that mounted. We may have to make a new shaft to go into the dry sump pump. I know that sounds like a lot of work, but we really want to go dry sump on this thing. And then remaking that crank hub with the pulley design on there. So we run 8mm belts. So all of that information is available, 24 tooth, count it out just to make sure. And then we'll get this onto the CAD print and see if we can get one of those made with, we're not going to run, this is I think a 1-inch wide. We're going to go down to a 1/2 inch wide, 12mm. So we got plenty of room down there right in this back section to put a 12mm wide one, and that's what we're going to go with. I mean, typically we run 20, which is almost 3/4 on a 1-inch pulley anyway, so that should do that. Again, unfortunate we couldn't make it to MoParty, but you know, given the circumstances with brother and stuff like that, it is what it is, guys. So we want this to be the ultimate burnout machine. We've built 2 other, well, technically 3 if you want to count the Camaro as a build. We got ideas of everything we need to do it right. So that's where we want to make this one. And we've got till November 18th to get it done, hopefully correctly. Get some trials in before then, tests and tunes. Hopefully we can talk to the local guy up at Volga and try that out. And then we'll be ready for Bradenton. So hope to see each and every one of you guys there. Trying to talk Carl into going. So Carl, if you're watching this, remember November 18th. Whether you and Judy fly down and you want to come watch it, I'll get you in there. Just Make plans for that. I think a lot of people would like to see Carl in there. He'd have one hell of a time, guys. So, all right, like, comment, share, and subscribe. This is your Sunday update. I know everybody looks for a Sunday video, so I'm putting this out there. See you in the next one.